Hello dear students, welcome to our lesson. Hope you are okay and ready to study. Let's start our lesson. Don't forget to take your notebook and a pen or pencil to make notes. In today's lesson, we will read a text, learn new vocabulary, do a listening task, and watch videos. Today we start a new topic that is called timekeeping devices. In your notebook, I would like you to write few examples of timekeeping devices you know. Let's look at some examples. The first, sand clock, digital watch, candle clock, astronomical clocks, and hourglass. Before reading a text, I would like us to look at some new vocabulary that you will meet in the text. Here on the screen, you can see two new words. Listen and repeat after me: pendulum and spring. Opposite them, you can see the picture that represents them. Now let's read the text. While I'm reading, make some notes definitely because later we are going to do a task based on the text. History of timekeeping devices. Tracking of time via mechanical or other means appeared over 5,500 years ago in the ancient Egypt and Sumer. With the 1,000 years of traditional building various types of sundials, sand clocks and water clocks, knowledge of these devices soon spread across Mediterranean and Boeing Greek, Roman and Persian empires to embrace them and start their own wave of advancements. As centuries went on, time was measured with candle clocks, incense clocks, oil lamp clocks, simple gear clocks, astronomical clocks, all up to the appearance of the first modern devices in 15th and 16th century. Sundials had begun appearing in ancient Egypt around in 4th millennia BC, with sun being their primary deity. Measuring of sun shadow received much attention during that time. To measure time easily, Egyptians separated daytime in 10 equal parts, with 4 additional parts reserved to 12 hours in the dawn and sunset. Series of markers on the ground enabled Egyptians to easily track time. Ancient Greeks and Romans focused much more attention on developing water clocks, which by 325 BC achieved much higher degree of accuracy than in its early stages. Even with many developments in this field, sundials remained popular throughout the life of Greek, the Roman empires. After the fall of Roman Empire, water clocks continued to be refined in Persia and China, with the most famous and most complicated water clock of that time being created by Muslim engineer Al-Jazari in 1206. By the 6th century, China started using candle and incense clocks, which slowly started spreading to the west, finally reaching Middle East and Europe in 13th century. By then, China made advancement with the introduction of astronomical clocks. Expansion of ship trade in Europe and ever-increasing will of sailing in open seas brought the need of having reliable and precise time-measuring devices. Much improved sundial devices that were designed in Persia became the integral part of every ship who wanted to sail beyond the sight of the coasts. By 16th century, mechanical devices started finding their way out of industrial laboratories, and time-measuring devices based on pendulums and springs began appearing across Europe. As centuries went on, their designs became more advanced, their structure smaller, and by the 19th century, mechanical pocket, table, and wall clocks became commonplace all across the world. Today, when the digital devices can be found in every corner of our civilization, measuring of time has finally become available to everyone. Now let's do the exercises based on the text. Choose the correct option, number 1. First timekeeping device was invented in A. Ancient Egypt and Sumer, B. China, C. Greece. Yes, it is A. Ancient Egypt and Sumer. The second question, sundials measure time using A. Sand, B. Sun shadow, C. Clouds. The correct answer is B. Sun shadow. The third question, by 6th century, China started using A. Water clocks, B. sundials, C. Candle clocks. Correct answer is C. Candle clocks. The last question, which country introduced astronomical clocks? A. Persia, B. China, C. Greece. It is B. China. Now we are going to watch for a short video about different types of timekeeping devices. Make notes if you need to, because later we will do exercise based on these videos.
Presumably, the first clock constructed by man was a simple stick put into the ground. The shadow of the stick moved in relation to the position of the sun in the sky. Later, people replaced it with a specially designed pole known as a gnomon. Over the course of time, someone had the idea to add a face with numbers representing particular hours. This is how the first sundial was made.
Sundials were useless during the night or when the sky was cloudy. That is why people invented hourglasses, water clocks, and the so-called candle clock. However, they were quite inconvenient, as one had to remember to constantly turn the hourglass upside down.
Hourglasses and candle clocks were finally replaced with mechanical clocks. They varied in appearance and in size. The clocks installed in church towers and city hall towers were the biggest. Mechanical watches, on the other hand, were very small. Mechanical clocks are still very popular and can be found in many places.
A few decades ago, quartz and electronic clocks appeared. They are very convenient and precise. It is likely that most of you own this type of clock.
On the screen you can see 4 pictures of different timekeeping devices. Your task is to match the picture to correct type of the device. You can start. Let's check your answers. On the first picture you can see digital clocks. On the second picture we can see mechanical clocks. On the third picture is the presentation hourglass, yes. In the fourth picture we can see sundials. If you have matched all of 4 pictures correctly, great. If you have 2 or 3 correct answers, it's fine. Let's continue with listening task. Now let's read these words together. Pendulum, dial, mechanical, precise. Well, you have some times to look the definites. Okay, let's listen.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. Well, before we run out of time, Neil, and that means use it all up, let's have a quiz question. Can you tell me what the word clock originally referred to? Is it A, a pendulum, B, a bell, or C, a dial?
A pendulum is a stick with a weight on the end that swings regularly from side to side. And a dial is the round part of a clock. But there are dials on loads of things. They aren't just on clocks. And a bell is, well, a bell.
Well, hurry up, Neil. You're wasting time with all these explanations.
That's cheeky coming from you, Rob. I think the answer is probably bell.
Well, you could be right, because not all timepieces go tick-tock. In fact, mechanical clocks and watches are quite recent in the history of timekeeping.
Mechanical means to do with machines. So in the past, before people had mechanical timepieces, how did they know when to arrive at work, for example, or when to finish?
They would have looked up at the sky and observed how the position of the sun, the moon and the stars changed as time passed.
That doesn't sound very precise.
Precise means accurate or exact. It was precise enough for many people.
Let's check your answers for yourself. Pendulum is a stick with a weight on the end that swings regularly from side to side. It is C. Dial, the round part of clock, but more generally it refers to a round instrument that shows you the amount of something. A. Mechanical, it is D. It has to do with machines. And precise, it is B. Accurate and exact. Okay, well, we have a very interesting lesson today. We have read a text, we have learned a new vocabulary, have done a listening task, have watched the videos. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you for your great work. Goodbye.